as another week in the open mic universe comes to a close. We're going to end it like we always do with WWE SmackDown. And to kick things off here tonight, we've got more first round action in the tag tournament to determine who the new WWE Tag Team Champions are going to be. If you missed Raw, those titles were vacated when the Usos defeated the Tongans at the final Great American Bash show. Back on Raw, we saw Gallus defeat Imperium to move on to the second round. We also saw the Trick Mello Gang, with a little help from Jimmy Uso, defeat the Tongans, the former tag champs, via countout. And they move on to the second round as well. Judgment Day taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Priest, a former WWE United States champion as well as WWE World Heavyweight champion. Kevin Owens, the current WWE European champion. And Finn Balor, a former one-time WCW Cruiserweight champion. He also had a run as WCW Tag Champion with JD McDonough. The winner of this one will move on to next week's SmackDown and take on the winner of the match later in the night between the Creeds and Country Strong Style. And that's the team of Braun Strowman and Cameron Grimes. We saw KO and Sami attempt to try to win the tag titles at the very start of our universe before their friendship was fractured. Now that they're back together and picking up a win here in the first round, they're hoping their luck as a team will be a little bit different this time. They are moving on to round number 2. Big win for KO and Sami to kick off SmackDown. Up next, we've got Axiom in singles action. He's going to be meeting a returning superstar to the WWE roster, Ricochet. Ricochet, who had about a 3-month trip, a 3-month layover on the WCW roster. He was drafted over to WCW back in the spring. And even in that short amount of time, he had a huge impact in WCW. He would go on to win the Money in the Bank ladder match and become the new Mr. Money in the Bank. And on the second to last night of the Great American Bash tour in Memphis, he made a very calculated choice and decided to cash in on main event Jey Uso after Jey had been through a battle and really got the hell beat out of him by Jacob Fatu. Ricochet would go on to win the WWE World Heavyweight title, and with that win, Jey Uso, because he lost, would move over to WCW to replace Ricochet on that roster. Ricochet would lose the title to Roman Reigns on the final night of the Great American Bash tour, but he is back here in the WWE. We'll see if that positive streak he has been on will continue. Next, we've got the WWE debut of Nia Jax. We did see Nia back in Cleveland at the Great American Bash. She participated in a free agent gauntlet match where the winner would move on later on in the night in the main event and get a shot at Charlotte Flair and the WCW Women's Championship. Nia ending up making it to the end. She was last eliminated by the winner, Lyra Valkyria. We saw that Lyra made her debut earlier in the week in WCW, and it looks like Nia came to terms with the WWE, and now she is on the WWE roster. And you know she's not going to be wasting any time trying to go after that WWE Women's Championship. Obviously, her hands full here with the former multiple-time, not only WWE Women's Champion, but also former multiple-time WCW Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. Becky, who took some time off after Backlash, where she lost the WWE Women's Championship to Shayna Baszler, made her big return at the Los Angeles Great American Bash, where she defeated Ronda Rousey. Here in her return to SmackDown, the man is victorious. Next, we've got our final first round match in the WWE Tag Title Tournament. This one between former WWE Tag Team Champions, Country Strong Style. They will be taking on the Creed brothers, representing Team Angle. The Creed still looking for their first championship in our universe. And the team of Strowman and Grimes looking to get back on top. The winner of this one will take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn next week on SmackDown. And what should be a hell of a match regardless of who comes out of this one. Obviously, you got a team that has some championship history and a newer team in our universe who is super hungry to achieve some championship success. But you also got to think who is in their corner. Kurt Angle, former Olympic gold medalist, Hall of Famer, multiple-time champion. He is coaching this team. And we've seen really kind of an added aggression out of not only the Creeds, but also Chad Gable and Ivy Nile as well. Strowman in some trouble here. This could do it. And the Creeds moving on to round number 2, and they will take on KO and Sami next week on SmackDown. Now it's time for our main event, Solo Sikoa. It's been both a good and bad week for the Bloodline. Good in the sense that Roman Reigns has recaptured the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The bad, not only did the Tongans, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, come up short against the Usos at the final Great American Bash show in Greensboro, but earlier this week on Raw, Jimmy Uso cost the Tongans their match in the first round, so they are out of the tag tournament. Solo's opponent here on SmackDown is the Viper, Randy Orton. Should be a hell of a main event and a great way to close out the week here in the open mic universe. I'm guessing Roman and the entire Bloodline was probably thinking that now that Jay is over in WCW, Jimmy's all alone. They'll be able to just kind of pick the bones. But Jimmy's showing on Raw that even though he is at a disadvantage numbers-wise, this war between he and the Bloodline not over by any means. He was going to be proactive, and he was. And he made a huge statement and a huge impact. On our first Raw coming out of the Great American Bash Tour, Orton with an RKO only gets a 2 there. Randy hearing voices. Big drop kick to Solo out on the floor. Now we get the Viper with some ground and pound on the outside. Randy better keep up with the ref's count. We're already at 5. And Solo fighting back here. And now some vicious knees to Orton. Solo gonna get back in before the count of 10. And Randy not able to beat the ref's count. Solo is gonna win this one by count out. Solo Sikoa victorious, but here's Jimmy Uso. And he has taken it to Solo with that kendo stick. Jimmy Uso strikes again.